The Atomic Real Estate Show, bringing you the real estate of real estate. Brought to you by Danny Bennett Productions in partnership with Direct Subs.
This episode is brought to you by Downtown Mechanical. Downtown Mechanical is your one-stop shop for all of your HVAC needs, residential and light commercial. Downtown Mechanical specializes in installation of full units, swap outs, repair, service, rooftop units, mini split systems, heat pumps, whatever you need HVAC-wise. I personally use them on all of my properties. Matt Rispo is the owner. Great guy. I love working with them. They accept credit cards, free estimates, and they offer financing. You can get a hold of them at downtownmechanicalllc.com or by phone 215-617-3768.
Hey, what's up, everybody? We're back here for another episode of the Atomic Real Estate Show. Ryan Dolan here with my colleague Nick Cessna, and we have a really special guest today. Part of the union and HVAC world, we have Matt Rispo from Downtown Mechanical in Philadelphia, based out of Port Richmond, right, Matt? Matt is going to answer all of our questions today based on kind of how his team operates, how they're growing, where they started from, and how they can help our listeners and our real estate partners in the HVAC world. And anytime it comes to flips, you know, home renovations, anything like that, this is our guy. So, Matt, thank you very much for jumping on the show. Now, Matt, you're a good buddy of Nick's. So we had just met a couple minutes ago. So tell us a little bit about your company, what you guys do and where you're based out of.
Well, downtown, we started, I've been doing residential work for years, but I always worked for the union. I got in the union in like 89. And I know, old head. I'm old head. Yeah, he always reminds me how old I am. So I always would when I got into the business and I started working with the union, I always wanted to know the business end of it. I wasn't always just comfortable being just a worker. I always wanted to further myself. So,
and you started in the sheet metal union and stayed in the sheet metal union the whole time?
Yeah, since '89.
And how many years did you end up with?
35.
All good?
All good, yeah.
Wow. So by good years, like when you see union guys talk, they say good years, that means you had a certain amount of working hours per year, which means a good year means you weren't laid off, means you weren't a bum, which goes to show that, like, especially through the late 80s and early 90s, like there was a lot of layoffs. That means that you had all good years. You were working.
I was fortunate.
Yeah. You were fucking working the whole time. That goes to show that you were a good worker.
Well, listen, I was always a good worker, but you know me personally. I've had my ups and downs, like, you know, drinking, partying. So, you know, even though through that, I still showed up at work. Sure. And I thank God for the union, because when you're going through stuff like that, they always have your back. Yeah. And the Local 19 saved my life a couple times, basically, you know, so I owe a lot to them. Sure. You know, but I always worked hard, but I always knew the money. I wasn't comfortable just getting that Wednesday paycheck. I wanted more. So I did service before I got in a local, so I knew stuff about service. So I started, you know, neighbor say, hey, can you switch my heater out? I started doing this guy, and this guy would tell this guy, and it just started, you know, steamrolling. And by the time I got to about 6 years ago, I was talking to the business manager. They knew I was doing a lot of side work. And I wasn't trying to throw it in no one's face. Of course, I wanted to grow my business. So I told them, listen, let me get my 35 years and let me be 55 with my magic number of 85, and I'll start my business, like, officially. So a couple of years ago, I signed with the local, got residential guys, you know, and the rest is history. I've been doing work with Nick for like 5-6 years now, Nick.
Yeah, my dad retired. Well, it was actually before my dad retired. And we've talked about this on other episodes. Like, my dad basically just said to me, like, I can't fucking keep up with you, kid. Like, I can't keep up with you no more. Like, if you're going to get other people, like, please, like, I don't want to fucking be the one to hold you up. Like, and I was like, okay, cool. Because I was feeling that way. Like, all right, this dude's, like, he can't keep up with me. But I didn't want to be, like, a jerk off to my dad.
Yeah, your pace is pretty...
Yeah, it was.
Crazy.
It was really crazy at first, and especially when you first came on board, and we were ripping.
Yeah. You were doing one every 2 weeks.
You basically had your guys with me almost all the time.
Here goes a question. Since we have a lot of union clients, a lot of union listeners in our neighborhoods, heavy union based, how do you start in the union, and then, you know, when you put in your time, then say, hey, I want to pivot and start my own shop, right? Because a lot of these guys probably listening, I'm sure, had the same exact idea in their head. Like, when did you know it was time? And does it take a leap of faith? Like, tell me, I have no idea how that actually
I'll tell
works.
you a funny story. So me and Nick would talk all the time. Now, listen, Nick's a lot younger than me, but I trusted his opinion because when I seen how he worked. He was smart. He ran a good job, clean job. He coordinated with me to help me make money.
I'll give you that $100 later.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah. 200.
Yeah.
But he actually helped me, and it's the truth because I work with about 10 different guys. But the little things he does, sets up a sink in a bathroom, basically like a temporary bathroom in there, so people
like a laundry tub.
Yeah, sure.
So people ain't pissing in the yard, and this happens all over. I mean, it's disgusting because the neighbors. Now you're trying to make nice with the neighbors during your construction because you don't want the L&I there all the time, and you don't want those problems. But you do the little things, the tub so the guys can take a piss. You know what I mean? Clean the job off. Like when we'll go on some jobs, there's trash, lumber, human shit in the yard.
I learned about that a long time ago. About
like
him.
human shit, though. You know what I mean?
No.
So now you're pissed off when you get there. You go to Nick's, Nick will say, yo, I'm ready for it. When he says, I'm ready, now listen, I got a couple of guys like Nick, but Nick he's always consistent. We'd show up. My guys love going there. The woods, on any extra lumbers, push up the side, trash is cleaned, the floor swept. So you come in, you can work like gentlemen and, get it done faster. You're not tripping over shit and it's not unsafe, it's not unsafe like walking just around on a project. But the funny thing when you get to the back,
your guys all call me too.
Sure.
They call me and they'll say, hey Nick, Maddie's got us at this job. I just want to double check with you. Because they also know I'm very particular with stuff. Like,
to say the least.
Bobby may call me, Richie may call me, and they'll say, are you cool with this? You cool with ductwork here? I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what me and Maddie went over. Yeah, perfect. Thanks for calling. You're good. Or they'll catch stuff because of the way that I treat them. They actually look out for me. Like Nicky called me one day, and he says, hey, I just want to let you know there's a leak in the basement. He said it looks like a pinhole leak it's an unfinished basement by the slop sink that I set up for them to piss in. Sure. He's like, but it's on the hot side. I shut it off. I still haven't even fixed that yet because it's like I'll do it on final because we don't need hot in the slop sink. Sure. So, but he shut it off. He sent me a photo. He was like, "There's water down here. I just want to let you know I shut it off. I checked everything else. Everything else is good." So like they're looking out for me. Where if I was some asshole,
they wouldn't.
They wouldn't they would let that bitch run with water. That ain't my problem. It ain't got nothing to do with HVAC, and they just fucking let it run.
Well, no, it's another thing. And I want to answer Ryan's question about, so when I knew it was time. So about 5 years ago, we're doing work for Nick. I'm doing with Ryan Gallagher, another great guy, and that's who introduced me to Nick. And Ryan's awesome. And I was like, it was just jobs would start coming in. So I'm working out of my truck. I set up an app on my phone to send invoices to be a little professional. Like I'm basically working out of my truck, but I'm running work for Precision Air. It's a big union company and great people. But I'm one of their foremen, and then all day long I would get texts and just set my guys up. And then after work I would go home, do paperwork and order material for the next day, do logistics. But I was kind of starting to cheat the guy I was working for the union. Me and him were personal friends. Sure. Now this guy's paying me a lot of money. His jobs would get done. He would make money, but I felt like at some point, him being my friend, that my heart wasn't 100% in it anymore. Sure. So like the last year when I told him, I said, November 26th, I'm out. I'm retiring. And he kept laughing about it. He thought I was kidding. Up until basically like October, then he knew I was serious. But here's what I did. I had a nice utility truck I bought. Remember I bought the white one? I said, Nick, I buy so much equipment, they said they're going to pay for my advertising. So they put a wrap on my truck. So I'm not thinking nothing of it. So when you're working for the union and you're doing side work with a company name on your truck, it's just guys get
kind of a
wrong.
no-no.
Now, not realizing I'm in total communication with the union about my intentions, not hiding it. So I'd ride around with that truck. People would actually take pictures and send it to the hall, and the business manager,
you're going behind the union's back, kind of doing.
So when I knew it was time, right?
There's a lot of rats.
See,
there's a lot.
That's why I was so interested about this.
It's like 13. It's like 13th grade, dude.
If the guys would just call me and ask me, I would explain to them. But they just right away, oh, he's scabbing, he's doing this. I'm doing. If Nick's giving me a job,
can you explain Can you just explain what scabbing is, real quick?
Scab. It's a guy that's working non-union. Okay, so anything if you're not paying into your union scale, obviously your union benefits, you're scabbing. That's what they call it. Me, I would do houses. I would use other guys that were either laid off, all the union guys, So it was like we would keep it in house. But these are like, if Nick's not going to say, Nick didn't even know about me being union. He would always say you never could tell because I thought like he did on the business end of it. Yeah. So when we would do jobs for Nick, if I said I'm not going to do it, Nick's going to go find another guy, and he's going to be non-union. So wouldn't you be happier if guys like me are going in, doing the job, putting some cash in a guy that's laid off pocket, whatever it may be? Yeah. So that's how I looked at it. Other guys see it differently.
I was going to say, so it sounds like a couple guys are probably a little jealous. Like, wait, how's this guy wearing two hats here, right?
He's got his 100%.
He's got his own business, plus he's making
double
money
dipping.
with the union.
He's double
why the
dipping.
hell can't I do that? Meanwhile, you're actually trying to look out for your guys, unemployed guys, trying to help out. And these are all skilled workers, heavily,
You have to understand, there's a lot of really good guys in the union, but there's a lot of fucking bums.
Bad guys.
Yeah.
There's a lot of guys that are just
and that's
there.
any line of work. I mean, it really truly
They're just collecting paychecks.
Well, here's the thing.
They're filling numbers.
Let me give you an example. So I retired. A friend of mine retired. Now this guy might have worked 6 months a year. He had 35 years in the local, 25 good ones. So that means 10 years of his life he didn't get it. 10 years he gets no credit for because he didn't work enough hours.
Holy shit.
So it's basically a part-time job. So, I mean, no matter what I did, I try to do it the best of my ability. But when I see that stuff, I'm like, how can you be happy with that? Because I got my pension. Listen, our pension, people say, the union pension. I personally think it blows because when I sat down to do it, like, there's a couple things in there that you just don't expect. Like, I sat down, I'm expecting $4,000 a month. By the time I walked out of the union hall with a mug saying retiree, I was short of $1,000. I'm getting $3,000 because I have to pay $500 for your health and welfare and $500 for my wife to collect my pension after I die. You have to pay. It's an option. I never knew you had to pay for it. Wow. So I walked out. I'm like, thank God I got this. Like, I have my business. I paid myself. But I don't know how fucking guys do it.
We talk about this shit all the time.
How do they do it?
Yeah, so when they get done, I mean, there's no real exit strategy for a lot of these union guys.
You're not expected. You sit down. So I know there's a lot of guys with blinders on. You're going through your career, not even thinking. I'm still in my head. I think I'm 25. Like, I'm moving. Like, now, boom, I'm 55. So you sit down and you start doing the numbers. You're like, wow, I didn't prepare myself for that. But thank God I have what I have in my business because, I don't really count on that. It's not like it's just found money at this point. But a lot of guys ain't like that, which I feel bad for. And they're going to go down there one day and sit down and they're going to do the numbers and like, the fucking price of fucking groceries are double and everything. How do you get by? You really can't.
So now how does the union give your blessing? Do you go into the hall and say like, hey, I love my time here, but I want to start my own thing. I need to pull in some of my own guys, and they're
cool with it. So see, with the residential end, but basically,
didn't you make your company part union or something too, right?
We are. So we're signed with the residential.
You have union employees.
Yeah. Okay. So we are signed with Local 19 residential, and what happens is it was kind of the market being that like guys like Nick, say times Nick by what 1,000. That's in Philadelphia. Guys trying to flip houses, building even like 5-story little fucking apartment buildings and all. Yeah. That stuff was going non-union. Our union kind of caught on that, we either got to lower our rate, make a special rate to compete with these guys, or we lose it. So the union sat down and came up with an agreement, a CBA for residential guys. And there's like a guy named Marty Sanks and Joe Sanks that own Sanks Mechanical, great dudes. They signed with Local 19. All their guys are Local 19. The good thing about it is, the company doesn't have to pay Blue Cross or pension. That gets taken out. The union handles all that. So you just pay that benefit package for that individual. Like every week we send our benefits.
So that will reflect in the cost of the job for the new.
Sure.
Okay, perfect.
Sure. Right. So if the guy's rate's $55 an hour total package, obviously we got to go like 65, 70 minimum, and that's how you make your money.
So is that relatively new where the union's starting to get hit like, hey, all these small little boutique kind of jobs? Because as we mentioned on the show, like I'm doing a boutique hotel in Old City, Philadelphia. It's a 5-unit, but we had, I'm a big union guy as well. We had some union guys come in and price it out. Just can't afford it, right? There was like nothing in it for us. It's a big project. We're probably in, pretty over our head to begin with. So, we got, I guess what you guys would call a scab.
And then they want to come put the rat out front and all that stuff, but it's like, okay,
we're done our project, so don't be putting no rats outside of my place.
It doesn't matter. Here's the other thing, too. Those rats don't mean shit no more.
Nah, guys will walk right by.
They don't mean shit no more because you ain't gonna stop me from walking past, right? And they don't mean shit no more. It's not like the '80s where they cracked your head open and stuff like that.
Nah,
that
that
shit's
stuff
gone.
doesn't work.
That shit's gone, right?
But here's what happened. Marty and Joe Sanks Mechanical. I don't even we're not even competition like that because my scope, my scale of work's way different. They do buildings, like smaller buildings, like commercial, residential, and they were getting rats put in front of their jobs, and they're friends of mine, so we would talk, and great guys, like I said, great. They're like, yeah, we can't pay fucking $105 because the A rate. I know Dominic, who I used to work for, charged like $125 to $135 an hour for A rate. I'm like, no. I said, the rate's half of that. So when they heard that, they were willing to sit down and talk because they were already paying all their mechanics top money in the city, plus their health, their Blue Cross, and all their little package. They had maybe a 401k. So when they went to Local 19, the benefit package that Local 19 offered was comparable to what they were already paying. So it was like a no-brainer. Let's sign, and then now you don't have, obviously, you ain't going to have no rats in front of your projects, and you can actually start bidding on maybe a little bit of a bigger project and make more money. Yeah. So there's advantages to it. And like I said, you don't have to do none of that Blue Cross shit as an owner. You don't have to do your 401k. All that money goes to Local 19. It's dispersed down there, and it goes to that whatever individual you have. So they saw it. And like I said, I see it this way. There is very good guys in Local 19. And there's guys. In all the unions. But you may take a shot, say, I need a guy. And then a guy shows up. Some guys show up like they shouldn't even have tools on.
Sure, zero.
And that's just in any, it's like an answer. But the thing is, now you got to keep the guy a week. So it's like taking a couple grand and wiping your ass with it and throwing out the fucking window.
You have to keep them on for a certain time. Okay.
So, and that's a problem. So it scares a lot of guys to hire. But the good thing about our market with the light commercial residential is that we're allowed to bring our own guys in. Like we have a guy I have a guy at a trade school and there's nobody on the out of work list. I call the hall and they're like, all right, we'll sign him. So they'll just basically give him a card, make him go to school, but he works for me. Now on the A side, you don't have that luxury. You have to hire off that list. Okay. You have no option. You can't just bring a guy and just totally. They work with the residential end because of the way that they're trying to compete in this market.
Okay. Because
that could help you with your hotel.
Yeah, I was just going to say so when you say like commercial, because I know we have real estate investors that do residential, but I know a lot are, we've had a couple business owners on it well, that their goal is to buy the bricks, have a commercial space with a renter in there to supplement the mortgage payment, whatever it is. So say like commercial, a 5-unit speakeasy, like Airbnb boutique hotel. Right. That's something you guys would do.
That's something, instead of losing the job, Local 19, they would work with you.
Wow.
So they would say, hey, listen, we'll let Matt come in and give you a number, or Marty Sanks, or any other resident. Or that guy who's the guy from your neighborhood, to Jesse.
From
Airtight?
Airtight.
Yeah, he's another guy.
Did he go union too?
Yeah, he's union.
Oh, yeah. So they'll have a rotation of guys that you'll have to
pick from. Instead of having like an SSM or ADS, the big sheet metal outfits come in bidding you $135, $40 an hour. A lot of money. It's a big difference. We come in, we can give you a number that's, okay, you can fit that in your budget, and you ain't going to have people with rats in front of it and all that stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's advantages.
But now you're also doing regular homes, regular customers. Like, hey, my air conditioner's broken, my heater's broken. You're doing swap outs.
That's where the money's at.
Swap outs are I learned this a long time ago from my dad. Like, you make really good money with that if you know what the fuck you're doing. And that's
we have to do a science.
In anything with your business, like if you know what you're doing, you know how to do it, you make the money. If you don't, especially with service, my dad made so much money with service because he knew what he's doing. People still call him to this day. Sure. Charlie, how I got this unit. He take a photo of it, send it to me. Okay, this is your problem. And that's where you make your money, and that's where that whole thing comes in. People are like, wait a minute, I just paid you $10,000. You were only here for a day. It's like, wait a second.
Yeah, you ain't paid for me.
You paid for my 20 years of experience to be able to do this in one day. I could do it in 4 days if you want, and I'm just going to hang around and not act like I know what I'm doing. And that's what you're going to get some of these companies with these younger guys that really don't know what they're doing. It's going to take them longer until they get up that experience, and you can do it in a day. Or you can do 2 in one day. That's when you're making the money.
Here's what I'll put it out there like this. So we do a house for you, Nick. After we're all said and done, the company makes $1,500. Let's say that's on average. Today I'm on Petchin Street. doing a
Peachin',
switch out.
motherfucker.
You know he's from Port
Port
Richmond.
motherfucker.
Peachin'.
All right, so let's go. I'm on Peachin Street.
I don't call it.
You actually corrected me this before. I still called.
I don't call it Sep Viva Street. You know what I mean? When I go down there.
Oh, I actually swear I don't know the name of that street. I cannot pronounce it.
It's a Viva Street.
Yeah, like Passyunk
Yeah,
too. You know.
yeah.
So here's the thing.
Or Huntington Park. I love that one. Yeah. It's fucking Huntington.
Yeah, but so you go in here today. The company makes $2,000, and the guys are only there 6 hours. So it's a no-brainer what you really want to do. You know what market you want to be in, and obviously I want to be in the service. Switch up and up. You always keep the homes because it keeps guys busy.
You need to do it all.
Yeah,
really.
but not only that, you'll refer me to somebody for
Exactly.
a switch out, and like it all comes, but you have to stay in the game, so you have to do everything. You know what I mean? Not to like right now, one of my customers wants me to leave and just wants us to add one return vent. Now that's something I don't feel like driving, spending a couple hours driving, looking at it. Because there's really no money in it. It's duct work. But you do it because this guy, if you do him that favor, he's going to still remember you and call you when the bigger stuff comes. Okay. You know, and that's how I put it. But I want to tell you the story, though, right? When I got this truck wrap, now how about that wrap on it? It tells downtown mechanical, financing. It's a moving billboard.
It looked nice. It looked
it's
super.
still, one of my guys still has it. So
it looked like a union truck. Like it was like really legit.
My boss Dom for the union goes, go down to the new Subaru in off of Grace Ferry Avenue.
The one you can see on
Oh
76.
yeah, sure.
So I had to go down and put some fans on it. I'm like, yeah, no problem. So I always have downtown stuff on. So I'm self-promoting. I have it on. So I pull
We're
my
gonna put you on the
truck
spot.
up.
We're gonna need 2 of those, by the way.
I get you. I got you. Yeah, what size are you?
Large.
Well, you used
Large
to,
camera.
he used to call me. He'd be like, dude, what do you got? What do you got? Union Connects or something like that? What's going on? Like I'm seeing all these guys wearing your shirts on union jobs. I'm like, they're all my boys. Like,
Yeah.
Like Big E. And
I had the
Marky
hood, I had
and
the
all these
hoodie
guys.
on, right, and had like a rat.
Yeah,
on
the,
it.
yeah, the money. I did that as a joke because so we grew up with all union guys. So I made these hoodies just for them, and it had the skull cap attached to the hoodie.
Yes.
And so you
I
can wear your hard hat, and then in the reflector stuff. So to be a dick, I put my logo on the back. To be a dick, I put a rat in the pocket with a big money symbol.
But so my boss says to me, goes, go down to Subaru. He goes, so I pull up there, you know, it's all union site, you know, 420 guys, 401 guys, plumbers. So I pull my truck up. I got my tools, I go in, my cousin's running the job, my first cousin, Michael Stevens. So I'm like, yo, what are we going to do? He says, go up on the roof. So I'm up there working, and it's me and this apprentice, and we're doing our thing. So my cousin calls me, goes, Matt, you're on the roof, right? Yeah, he goes, yo, everybody down here saying there's a scab company up there setting fans. Now listen, this is how fucking stupid I am sometimes. I'm looking around, I'm like, where? I don't see fucking anybody up here. So I'm looking around, and he goes, yeah. My cousin goes, what's the name of it? They said, yeah, it's Downtown Mechanical. And he goes, Michael goes, goodbye. It was me. So the guys, the steam fitters on the job seen my shirt and the truck. They don't never heard of me because I'm not signed with that local. So they called up thinking there's non-union guys there. So the owner calls me. He's like, do you fucking believe this shit? He goes, you have to pull that fucking billboard up to the... I'm like, I didn't even think of it. I said, I just went into work. So I said to the 2 guys on the roof, I was like, yo, why didn't you just come over and ask me? Why didn't you you could have said, yo, what union you're in? I would have told you, here's my card. You know, I work for Local 19. But it's an example of how guys are.
13th grade. It's fucking 13th grade.
Just walk over 25 feet and ask me.
And just ask, because, well, now that my head's going a million miles a minute, I'm thinking of the pros and cons of kind of you opening up your own business. So one of the cons is just letting people know, hey, I work for the union. Like, why are you guys not allowed to slap your sticker on the business?
Well, at the time, I was still working for a side.
Oh, okay, I got it.
I was doing my residential at night.
Yeah.
And listen, but it was nothing underhanded. I told the local, and they were like, okay, well, they knew when I was 55, I'm going to go. And they knew.
And they knew you weren't competing with them. You weren't bidding commercial jobs. As long as you're not stepping on their toes, right?
That's
you're
what
not doing
I was
commercial
thinking.
work.
Like, okay.
Now, here's the thing, though. Like, I remember when 07, 08, that crash hit, and Tommy was building over on Harmon Road. They came with the rat because they had no fucking work commercially. And they were like, oh, we're setting up the rat, and we're going to put a pick line up here. And he's like, go to fuck head. He's like, I got 10 dudes who are laid off from the Carpenters Union working here. Fuck you guys. And he walked right on. Tommy's a fucking maniac, though. He was just like, you ain't going to fucking stop me. And he walked right on, and they worked. And they quickly realized, like, what are we going to do? But you can't, that's that whole thing that you can't have your cake and eat it too. Like, if you ignore residential when it's slow for so long, and then
They'll come back.
And then when you're busy with commercial, you ignore residential, and then commercial dies. That's my problem with the union. You can't then come over to residential and say, "Hey, fuck you. We want to set up a picket. We want this now." No, nah, motherfucker. You haven't been in here this game the whole time.
Like our local. We used to do all the walk-in boxes. Like
all the restaurants and bar restaurant business.
Huge. Yeah. So I ran when Tasty Cake, when they built that new site, I ran that whole site. It was 9 buildings there. So the one supermarket in there, ShopRite, the carpenters come with tractor trailers and they're building the boxes. So our steward says, "Yo, Matt, I got to call the hall." I'm like, "Go ahead." I said, "No, nothing's going to happen." It's whoever gets awarded the job gets to do it. But years ago, they fought all over it and lost it, and the carpenters do that now. But guys can't accept it. It's gone. Once it's gone. So our agent actually tried. He said to the carpenter, I was standing there, goes, "Yo, buddy, can you at least put a couple of our guys on?" And the guy didn't even miss a trick. He's like bolting these things. The guy goes, "Nope." And just keeps going. You know what I mean? Because it's gone. I mean, they got it, and there's nothing you can do about it.
The carpenters are smart. They took on a lot of work that was people didn't know they wanted, like the plasterers. The plasterers saw drywall come. And this is from years ago, like Marky's dad used to tell me a story, because Marky's dad was in union back in the day, and the plasterers came on board, and the drywall got popular. The plasterers were like, "We don't want nothing to do with drywall." Well, plaster died, right? And then the carpenters were like, we'll take sheetrock, we'll take on wall boards. They started doing it, and then once they did it, they took it. Then the plasterers like kind of died out, and they were like, "Wait, we want that now." And they were like, "Fuck you." And they've done that with a couple things. The carpenters are smart with that shit, dude.
I think they often
are grumpy motherfuckers. Like a lot of union carpenters I'm friends with are grumpy motherfuckers. Yeah. But they're really good at
the inner fighting of the unions in the city, like over whose work is what. It really does. It's detrimental to everybody because the infighting fucks up everything. You know what I mean? So they have the building trades try to like sort out this bullshit, but listen, it's way above me, the politics of it. You know, I have friends that are involved with the building trades, but the infighting they're asleep at the wheel. Like they support candidates like Kenny has the sanctuary. This is a sanctuary. He's dancing Sanctuary City like an asshole. They don't realize our guys were under the impression like they put a Jim Kenny banner on our local. This fucking guy is letting everybody come in.
Right on Spring Garden Street, right across. Yeah.
Well, we're on Delaware Avenue.
You're Delaware.
So here's the thing, though, right? They didn't think nothing of it. Now, this was when Kenny, I guess, when he got his first 8 years ago, and he's happy about it. Now, and listen, I'm not knocking Mexicans or whoever is coming here trying to work. Listen, they work hard. These people work their ass off. There's people in this country that don't do shit. These people come in and just start going to town, and I respect that. But they're under the impression like they're going to always do these menial jobs, like they're going to do sweeping up, they're just going to maybe do laundry, all bullshit stuff. Not realize these are some skilled tradesmen coming in. And now I see them coming to the supply house in our trucks, in the big trucks.
The demographics totally changed because we do the work, a lot of loans for guys like this, Brazilian tile guys. People that, again, it's not my real world, but you see the demographic shift.
Their work ethic is.
To where their work ethic is.
You're not going to outwork them. You're done.
No.
It's crazy. So now let me ask you a quick, like devil's advocate question almost for our listeners, because two things that, I guess novice investors will do when they're doing a residential project will say, well, can I hire this scab or this independent contractor that I know, or go to the union? First thing you're thinking of, union's just going to price me out. It's too high. Second thing, you're going to get, the union guys are intimidating, right? From maybe those old stories back in the day. So it's like, do I even want to deal with a union guy? Like, tell us the misconception and like how you present jobs and how you win bids over your residential independent contractor that everybody would feel kind of safer, or the conceptions feel safer.
I understand exactly what you're saying. So most of the guys, there's a lot of guys in South Philly I do work with, Nick, Ryan Gallagher, every once in a while we do stuff. But when we go in, I don't even present myself. Like I don't broadcast that I'm union. So if I'm going to come in and give a number, I know my number paying what I pay union scale, what we pay. I can be comparable with anybody on a house.
Okay. And you are.
Listen, I am. And the thing is, those guys, though, it just comes down to they're going to make a little bit more money because a lot of them are paying their guys cash. A lot of them are paying them like $150 a week. See, some of these, I talk to them as splash guys. I'm like, well, how much you make? I'm always trying to find guys.
You're trying to get a pulse on what, which is great. That's smart business.
It's the way I want to put. I'm like, listen, if you're unhappy, here's my card. If anything ever happens, I always go to the guy who's driving the truck. Yeah. That means he has a little bit of potential and he's a little bit of importance to that company and he knows something. Because usually as me, I'm not going to give a guy a truck that don't know shit. You know what I mean? So I'm thinking
That's
that
a
the
good
other
tip to know now. To the guy
so I'm thinking they do
wheel.
the same thing, you know. But if somebody asks me if I'm union, yeah, of course I am. You know what I mean? I tell them my background. But a lot of guys in South Philly are like, Matt, my attitude, like the people say the union ought to come in, oh, we're taking an hour break. Oh, we're going to finish early. We're not going to get this done. Always complaining. I was never that way.
Not the residential shit.
I come in, I work with the customer. I'm like, yo, and not to be below Nick Cessna a day, but I'm going to say, Nick,
he needs one of them.
Yeah, but like I come in, him and Jen already have everything figured out. Like other guys have no idea. Like we'll start running duck, and they're like, "Oh wait, time out. I'm going to put a closet there." No, you should have had it laid out. You should have told me this. Now there's ducking away. Listen, most of the time I'll just move it just to make everybody happy. But when I come in, it's like I know exactly where everything's going. We talk for 20 minutes, me and him have the whole house figured out, and it goes smooth because it's already planned.
Yeah, so I mean, the planning it goes a long way because it really comes down to time is money. I understand that. And I understand that because of my father, right? All the wrong things that my dad did, I learned from, but the things that he really taught me that made me a better business owner is don't waste contractors' time. And I've talked about this on the show so many times. Don't waste contractors' time. Don't fuck with their money. And another way of you not fucking with their money is having everything planned out, having a clean job site, having it so where they can come in and work. Because if they need to move shit around or they need to call you 100 times, hey, I need this done, I need that done, you're wasting their time. You're fucking with their money.
Yeah.
Right? And I've never fucked with your money, ever. And then even with payment, you know right away, you send it over, and then, or you just contact Jen, and Jen's like, boom, here you go, it's paid, boom, right away. And that's why guys keep coming back. Plus, you build a rapport. Then you quickly realize, like, oh, this guy's not just like an investor that's just, oh, I need you right now, and boom, and you're never going to hear from him again or promising you the world. When we first met, I was like, this is what I'm doing. These are the active jobs I have going on right now. Can you handle it? And you're like, yeah, no problem. You did the first job. I was like, okay, perfect. And then it was like after the second or third job, it's like, all right, we know each other's process, boom. And I'm never going to waste your time. You're never going to waste my fucking time. And then you've saved me money over the years. We were like, yo, we don't need to do it this way. Let's do it this way. It's like, damn, I didn't think about that. So like we make each other better in business. And then like, I know that like, if my guys are there or if another contractor's there, you might say, hey, I don't like how they're doing this. Like you might want to check on this. With my guys, I don't have to worry about that kind of stuff now because everyone's all weeded out. Like my plumber that works with us talks to Matt. Hey, we're doing this. I don't want to fuck you. Or Matt will call Kenny and be like, hey, I want to put my trunk line here. And he's like, okay, cool. I'm gonna put my stack here. They talk. So no one's fucking each other.
Yeah, sure. Is that uncommon on?
Yes.
I'd be surprised.
Yeah.
Listen, communication's key, but like I said, with our team over here, we all know each other. I could tell the electrician, the plumber, we got Nick's guys are great. I mean, very accommodating. We just go in and, we get that game plan and we just run with it. I do a lot of houses, a lot. So you'll go in, just because a guy says he buys a house and then they call themselves a GC.
Yeah.
So they think that texting people and just getting people to come so I'll show up there. There's no plumbing in the house. Now, obviously the plumber goes first, if obviously carpentry, then the plumber on mechanical side. And you show up and there's no plumbing. I said, the guy, yo, what are you doing here? He's like, what do you mean? I said, where's your plumbing going? He should be in, before. I didn't know that. But they called themselves G. Just because you buy a house and you start investing some money, you're not a GC.
And you're delegating a text or task through text message. Yeah, listen, I mean, I made the mistake plenty of times before, and then you eventually call guys like Nick, like, think I'm in over our head, and he's like, get this done, and like kind of GCs it for you.
Well, that's the like I just built a house in Port Richmond 2 years ago, and I GC'd the thing myself. Worked for the union, working for myself, and GCing. It's just because it comes naturally after you've been doing it for years and years. How the everything has to be done in a certain order, or it's just not going to go smooth. But you find so many guys that just waste your time, call you back for stupid shit, want to move things over an inch, like crazy shit they'll say to you. And I'm like, this is all done. That's why we do a walkthrough. And we say, okay, we're going to go here with the duct work. Here's the units going here. You can't come to me, at the 11th hour and say, yo, I need this moved. We're already done because my guys were already, they don't realize like how much it costs to mobilize. If it's an hour job, I send a guy over there. It costs me 4 hours because he's going to drive there in my truck, gas. He's there. He's not going to.
He's going to talk to people.
He's going to talk to people. He's not going to light the world on fire. And then 4 hours are gone, and I lost money.
Well, that leads me to my next question then. Like, how do you kind of, one, as a business owner, pick up jobs? Because I'm assuming you're referral-based business. Number two, how do you vet the fly-by-night one-off GC guy that grabs it? Do you say, hey, this probably isn't worth the squeeze? Maybe we hitch our wagon to a guy like Nick that's got a real vision. You know he's going to be in the game for a long time, and you know how he operates. Or I guess my third question is, if you get into a job, do you just say, fuck, I got to fire this guy eventually, like because he's a pain in the ass or he's not running the job right? I know that it's a loaded question, but as a business owner, there are ones you got to...
Here's the thing. There's a lot of one and dones.
Yeah.
Like there's guys that says, I tell them I'm too busy. Like they'll call me. I just know that their projects are fucked up. They run it like slobs. They don't have no coordination. It's just not worth my time.
And it'll just, the ripple effect for you and your crew will be
listen, we do
shot.
a house for Nick. It's on average is 3 days. Done. So we go in, we roughen the ductwork in a day, maybe 2, depending. Nick buys some of these bigger houses too. And then we come back and we put the heater and the outdoor unit in another day. So it's down to a science on how we do things. These other guys don't get it. So this is not worth my time. So right now our website generates a lot of business. Nice. We do a little bit of advertising, social media helps us, but referrals everything.
Referrals big.
Real big.
Like people call me, and Maddie also knows that like I'm not going to refer people to him that are idiots.
Yeah.
Like there's people that call me, hey, I need an HVAC guy. I don't know anybody. Or I'll say my guy's not taking on new clients. Just because I probably don't trust them. I don't trust them to like. I'm not gonna put my name out there like to refer like. And then here's the other thing too. Maddie will call me to check. You know this guy? Did you refer him? Yeah, I did. Or I think it's happened where a guy like somebody called you and I'm like, I don't fucking know that guy. He's like, all right, well fuck him then. Because someone will just say like they'll see like our relationship because people do that. They'll see like they'll drive past your job site. They'll see social media. Maybe somebody will see this and be like, "Oh, hey, Nick, refer me to you." Nah, don't even fucking pull that shit because we check that shit. We pull cards around here. Yeah. But here's a quick story for you. This morning when Maddie got here, I was telling him about a job, and he's like, "Oh, you ready for me to go back there and start it up?" Because Kenzo's my electrician, and Kenzo didn't have the panel swapped out in the service in time, so. Maddie called me and he's like, yo, what the fuck? Kenzo didn't have this. I'm like, this motherfucker.
I know how to do that though, because he does that shit to me.
Yeah, he's the.
We just break balls.
Yeah, Kenzo's like the Grim Reaper. He wants to tell you everything that's wrong.
Mr. Bad News.
With everything. When he calls me, I'm like, what the fuck? Somebody died. So like so I call Kenzo like, yo, what the fuck, dude? You're wasting time. Oh, no problem. Like, I'll have the service done this week. He's like, I got called up. My bad. No big deal. Whatever. We've done so many jobs together. I call Maddie. I'm like, listen, he'll have it done. Like, no worries. And so he puts all the unit there. He can't start it up because Kenzo didn't have the thing for him to tie into. So I go to the job the other day. I'm there, and Kenzo runs everything past me. So Maddie's like, today I tell him about this job, and he says, oh, when are you ready for you're done? You want me to go back and get it all started? I'm like, nah, Kenzo did the start up for you because Kenzo felt bad. So he wired everything. He ran the drain line for him and fucking started everything up, made sure everything was good. He was like, tell Maddie the unit's good. Yeah. It's working great.
He's Nick's quality control guy.
I love it.
What he is, he's a gloom and doom.
Yeah,
like he loves to report bad news.
Yes, he does.
He loves to report
it,
it.
Dude. Loves it.
So now, kind of, your industry to me seems kind of small. Like you guys talk to one another quite a bit, right? Like you guys know everything about one another, who's good, who's not. Where do you branch outside of like your sphere? Do you gotten to link up with real estate agents, bar owners, restaurant? Like where do you go outside of kind of in your sphere?
Well, the majority of my business, I would say, is South Philly because there's a lot of investors down there, and they're developers, and some of them are legitimate GCs, very good at, just like Nick does, at organizing a job, make sure it gets done right. But I do a lot with like I don't know if you said Al Parry and Dave Lombardo. They're down on 21st in Oregon. I do work for them like that, and it's good about them. They'll always bring me on right in on the design stage. Like I'll go in and we'll look at the project, and a lot of guys are using designers now. So when when they use a designer, it has to be perfect because their vision is to the finishes. Yeah. You know what I mean? So if you have a duct in the way, it's going to make something look like shit, or a bump out in the wall because they're not happy. So you got to be on point. And
that's more for new construction.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, even some of the renos now too. But a lot of people are using mini splits too. Like that's a big part of
Yeah,
our
that's
business.
became increasingly popular, right? The mini split.
Yeah,
Tell the listeners a little bit about that because
so
some people hear it, they actually just don't have any idea.
Me and Nick we started using them
on
third
floors
floors that like have the potential. Like the one house that was finished, the duct. We weren't too sure how the third floor was going to react with just one system. So we added a ductless system for compensation. So basically, if it's a little too warm up there, they could turn that system on and they have their own AC, it's controlled by their own thermostat.
I'm going to pull up a photo just so he's.
Yeah. We've done it quite a bit, but I started doing the Catholic schools.
Oh, nice.
So I did about 4 of them, and because everybody wants to get away from the oil.
They're the mini splits.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I know.
I didn't know if you knew what they were.
Yeah.
So everybody wants to get away from oil, so we've been doing a lot of schools. And with that, like I always put my sticker on every piece of equipment. I tell my guys my sticker has to go on there because I want people, if they look at it, like, maybe I'll get that from, look at the company, and it's all there, so that really took off.
You said now that's a fascinating one, the schools, right? Because you're hearing the new mayor that comes in Philly. She's discussing year-round schools. Well, how the hell are you going to do year-round schools when
really?
Cheryl Parker's discussing year-round school? So
is that just to keep kids out of
and that's
trouble
something
in these low-income neighborhoods because they're just getting into shit?
I just think I don't know. It's just a pilot that I believe she wants to start, and then like Jalen Hurts even piggybacked, and like I forget the number. I think it was like 500 AC units he put in all these schools, or pledged to put up in all these schools. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking, now my gears are really spinning from a business standpoint. Like schools, wouldn't that be like a gold mine for you to go after? One of these?
The Catholic schools already started doing it. I did Our Lady of Hope. I did Mother Divine Grace. I did St. Matt's. And, one after they've seen one, how we did one, they loved it. And we just.
Then the priests talk to each other.
Yeah, the priests talk to each other, sure. Yeah. But they raise the money. You know how to Catholics
it's got to be. So are these difficult jobs? You're not going behind these walls, or you guys put it in?
No, listen, what we do is I bring a corn company in. I lay out all the holes where the pipes are going to go through the walls. We core, and that's a big part. The walls on some of these church walls and stuff, they're like 18 inches thick. So
those drill bits are expensive as shit.
Yeah, so I have a guy, I coordinate with him. I drill everything first, then I start hanging the units, and then we just start piping them in. And the one challenging thing with the schools is a lot of stuff's old. Yeah. It's from the 50s and 60s, so they're electric. They have to upgrade a panel, like shit they need to do too.
There's asbestos mitigation you got to deal with.
A lot of asbestos in schools too. And you don't want to fuck with it because if you hit it, now you disrupt it and it's a problem, So you got to watch it. And like I said, we just cored at St. Matt's and we cored a hole. We just missed a steam line that had asbestos on it. I'm like, thank God, because if we hit the steam line, it would have been a huge problem. But we had it laid out where it got a little too close, but it skimmed the insulation. You don't want that shit flying all over.
I remember doing like church and school boilers as a kid with my dad, like craning them in, and those things are unreal.
Yeah, we get into that a little bit too.
So do you consider that schools light commercial as well?
Light commercial.
Okay,
yeah.
Cool.
Now the Catholic Church would never take a union bid.
Now why is that?
Because just
cheap.
Their money.
They're super cheap, and then they're coming at you like, "Hey, can you do this for a discount?" They like guilt trip you, like, "Oh, well, your kids went here and this and that." Like they do
when you get married.
As soon as I got done St. Matt's, right? My first email I got was for a donation for their bazaar, $500. I was like, "Is this going to be every year?"
I mean,
I get all their money back?
The school that my kids and Ryan's kids go to, they had to raise money this year for a roof, and it's like, you kidding me? Like we're paying for that, but then the bid I saw the number, and I'm like, $700,000. Like tell them I'll do it for $4. Tell them I'll do it for $4. I'll pay somebody too. You know what I mean? Like what the fuck?
Yeah, it's so crazy because they know they can raise money though, man. They raise money. But it's crazy. My daughter would come home and she went to Mother Divine Grace. She would always bring home that she needs 25 for this, 10, and I would write on the envelope shakedown fee, and I put it back in her.
So funny he says that.
Yeah. So my daughter, she got old. She said, "Dad, please stop doing that because they get pissed off." I'm like, they all have all these degrees in the school. Can't they sit down at the beginning of the year and say the tuition's $5,000? Okay,
just give me $7.
Just give me $7. Stop nickel and diming me because it's a fucking pain in the ass.
Oh, dude, now it's
I say it all the time.
dollars for
dress down day
and this and that, and it's like, my wife says all the time. And then paper, She's like, why do I have to send in 2 reams of paper with each one of our kids at the beginning of school, and not one of these kids brings home a single piece of paper?
Yeah, how about this?
Not
The paper
one piece
and the
of
paper towels and the hand wash.
Yeah, like what the
What
the fuck?
What else do you need?
Yeah.
What about, so now I'm thinking this from, your civic duty part too. Like these schools, at least the schools that we went to in the city, and I'm sure I know you did and you did as well. Like they're hot as shit. Like, so I feel like they all should have these cooling units in there anyway, these heating units in there. And like I said, like with this year-round school pilot, I would think that would be a gold mine. Now, is that something you pursue, like schools and like commercial
The
like
only
that?
thing is, I don't think I would get a fair shake at a city bid.
No
you
way.
know what I mean?
No way.
Why? I don't understand.
There's too
that.
much politics
much
involved. There's
politics.
too many
Yeah.
people skimming
Listen,
money
those
off the shit.
contractors are already picked. You know what I mean? With the city, it's just how it is. You know, and I just bid on a city project. It's a residential 50 unit switch out with a girl from our local. She's a black girl. She's a go-getter. She started her own business and she's out there bidding. And we put a number in with her. And
So she's going after the minority contracts
and women, minority
and then
too.
subbing.
And I'll do the work, and then she'll be pretty much the go-between, which is fine with me. I could care less. But that's the people that are going to get the
She's
fair
going to
shake.
get that.
Yeah,
where
on that.
you wouldn't. But then here's the funny thing is, she's not even doing any of the work.
And
You're doing the work.
and she'll get paid.
But that's just how the city works. They have to check certain boxes.
You want to do business with people you identify with. And look, in this age, at 24, you should be doing that shit anyway. Realistically, I mean,
Dude,
I know it
I don't know
sucks.
why more women, because women are can go after minority contracts. Women and actual minority races can go after these contracts. Like, you can start an LLC. And you don't have to know how to do HVAC. You just have to be good at business and talking to people, getting these contracts together. And then you hire companies like Matt that have all the guys to do it. And because they're these city contracts, there's so much more money involved in it. The person that's doing a minority contract gets the bid. They're making money, and then they're just
do it all the
manage
time.
it with Matt. Really? And he's doing all the work. Oh,
I was superintendent
for
for a company. I think when we first met, remember I was superintendent for ECSI. It was a minority company. The owner was a great dude. He really was, but he was a little bit of a shyster. And he was very well spoken. He was half Spanish, half black. And the one day he called me like, "Yeah, pack a bag. We're going down to South Beach for a job." And I'm like, "All right." So I go up to Cohen in Bryn Mawr, I think it is, their shop. Some dude from Dubai, they unearthed a woolly mammoth somewhere. He dipped all the bones in gold and he put it on display at the Soho Hotel.
Wait, what?
So listen,
How the hell did we get here?
So, I'm on this is how you made that face. I was like, he's telling me this. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking? So we go to Cohen and they had this gold base, right? And they're putting this glass this thick on it. So I was going to hook up the system, the humidification, the AC, and I got the design. We fly down, they take the truck, then we meet them. We're on the beach at South Beach doing this job. So he says to me, he's trying to have a good time. He goes, I'm running the job, so I go meet that. It's all Spanish. No one speaks fucking English. So I'm talking to this mechanical contractor. Now I'm doing hand signals and I'm pointing on the drawing. So we sat.
Google Translate,
listen,
baby.
I would have it then. It was like 2010. But so we do that job, and it's like there's jobs he would get handed because of minority thing. You know what I mean? Yeah. And he would get handed. He fucked it up.
He's making a ton of
money. He would take me to a neighborhood like in North Philly. So we're doing a job, and we would have to sit down and talk to the neighbors. So they don't want to hear from me. He would go so far till he didn't know what he was talking about and to say, "All right, Matt, go ahead." So now I'm talking, the neighborhoods, sometimes they just don't want to hear from the white guys. Just the bottom line, and, but he was fucking good. He talked to himself. I walk in the office one day, Mayor Nutter's in there. We had an office in the Navy Yard. He was getting everything. It's just that he would get the fucking money and spend it. Like he would have parties. Yeah. He would do, and then like union halls call me, you
it's
owe funds.
It's almost like free money. They just have to have an account. They just have to have the business set up and then get this contract and then sub it right out.
Listen,
and it's wild.
So man. He had a partner. The funniest thing. So that I had my office in there and I had a sketching crew. So I was superintendent of our guys. So the one partner, he's like, I'm going to get $250,000 loan against my house for the company. I said to him, look, I wouldn't fucking do that. He owes $100,000 to the hall. All the vendors are calling me. He's not paying nobody. I said, this is
like Nick's biggest number one rule is like, don't put your kids and your family and your business at risk. This guy seems like he.
The funny thing is, the dude does it. right? So I see the writing on the wall. I see those funds. I'm like, dude, I'm not doing this no more. I get all my guys. I'm like, as soon as that check clears to the funds down at Union Hall, we have all our vacation money, our annuity paid, we're out of here. So, but we go. Them two find up suing each other. He loses the office in the Navy Yard, and the dude was just getting stuff because of being having a minority, contracting license, and but he landed on his feet. He called me like a year ago. Now he's a federal contractor, and he gets given here. They're saying, here's what the job is. It's $1 million here. It's your turn.
He's got the gift of gab and the ability to go after these contracts that like me or you can't go after. Yeah. We literally just can't go after them.
He was great at talk. He could talk your pants off. Smart, very well educated.
What's stopping guys like you from farming guys from different groups to
well, there's a lot of guys. There's a lot of guys that'll put a business. There's a lot of guys that'll put a business in their wife's name for that to go after these minority contracts.
Yeah, I would think that would be a wide open. Okay, cool.
There's a lot of paperwork that you have to do the minority contracts.
It's not like they'll fill this form out.
It's a lot of stuff you got to do.
Please understand, I'm still wrapping my head around the golden dip woolly mammoth. But
no, it's the craziest. Listen, so they put it there, or it's still there. Soho, if you look up Soho Hotel, it's on the beach there. It's on display. The dude's a billionaire. He dipped them in gold. I said, what the fuck? I said, I can't even buy a gold fucking ring. This dude's fucking dipping
woolly mammoth bones.
Yeah, it's the craziest shit. But that's what and there's big money in South Beach. But he was down here talking to people, networking, and
good for him.
Just he was real good at it. And he would, me and him would go out to dinner, and he would tell me. But the funny thing, I'm in South Beach. I'm walking down. Me and him are walking through South Beach to go to dinner, and I see this cute Eddie Garcia kid that I've known from the neighborhood for years. He wrestled. Well, I've coached him at Pal Wrestling, and he's in the HVAC business, and he's a singer. And I forget Viva Mas or something. That's his group. So he goes, I'm on the South Beach, and I'm not bullshitting. They're listening to the radio. I hear Spanish talk, and I hear, Eddie Garcia. And then I hear him start talking. I'm like, so I text him. I'm like, are you fucking in South Beach? He goes, yeah, I'm on a radio station. So when I was like, yeah, maybe we'll link up. So we're walking, and he's with a bunch of big Spanish dudes. He's walking, so I start running up, and he's small. I pick him up and start Mike, he's like Carlton from the Fresh Prince. That guy, he's not like a tough guy, black guy. So he sees me do it. So I pick him up, and I'm fucking swinging around, and Mike starts backing off. He's like, I was like, yeah, what's the matter? So I know this kid. He goes, oh, what the fuck? He goes, those guys look like them dudes from Breaking Bad. I was scared to death.
Now, what recommendations do you have for investors how can their job go more smoothly with an HVAC contractor? How should they approach you from the gate? And what's the best way to keep a good working relationship so where everything is going smoothly?
You know how I like to operate. I like to be right on the ground floor of, listen, if it's a light commercial, we're doing drawings, I like to have my input. And I'm usually pretty helpful on the design process of saving them some money, because obviously that's always a great thing. But right from the door, I'd like to be involved in the whole design. And moving forward, scheduling, is important too, making sure that you have the right trades in at the right time.
Good communication.
Good communication is paramount, because, if you don't have that, you get fucked. You can't, say the guy ain't talking to me, and I come in and me and Nick say, we're going to put this duct right down here. Easy peasy. And then nobody communicates with the plumber. I come in and there's a fucking soil line there. Now we have a problem. Who's moving or who's going to do what? So communicating's everything, and obviously, like you said, Nick, with every contractor, they might not say it, but the way you get paid is, like Nick, if I invoice, Jen has the money literally 5 fucking minutes later, you're paid. So that even though me and Nick are friends now because of years of doing business, he's always goes to the front of the line because his money's awesome. So you're not waiting on cash, because obviously if Nick's giving me 10 grand and this guy's giving me 10 grand, but he's giving me 10 grand 2 months from now, his 10 grand ain't that fucking important.
You're going to prioritize it so you can get your guys paid, your material, all that stuff. Cool.
Plus, when I say it's ready, it's fucking ready. Yeah. Your guys can go there, show up, and you're not wasting time. Because you've called me before, like, yo, dude, you need to talk to some of these fucking GCs. Like, I need to have them come to your jobs and, learn how to do this shit, because they're wasting my fucking time and they're wasting other guys' time.
My guys hate certain GCs. Like, and I'm going to fucking hate them. So they'll say, listen, anytime I'm sending the guys up Ridge Avenue, they know it's Nick. Yeah. So they're happy because they know they're not going to walk into a shit show, But there's some of them, my guys are like, oh man, I ain't going that. I don't want to go to that fucking job. I can't stand that guy. Because literally, we were on a job the other day. It was fucking human shit where we got to put our unit. Like, and what do you expect to be to clean up human shit? I'm not doing it. You know, and you go down the basement and you're working, the fucking basement stinks. And then you go over to the corner, there's a bag of shit. Somebody shits it. Like, who the fuck leaves that? Like, stuff like that. But like that won't happen at Nick's jobs because he's there every day. Some of these guys don't come to the project. They'll come in the beginning, maybe come once in a while, and then they want to come at the end. There's no, so basically it's like a free-for-all. Everybody's trying to figure each other out. Now, if I don't work, like Nick's guys, I work with them guys all the time, so we communicate. Other contract, I got my buddy Joe Smart, Chris Tomasco, these guys, we do work. We all communicate. Very good communication. But there's other guys that just, you're communicating, but they don't have, just because they bought the house and they're buying the materials and scheduling, they don't understand what you're explaining to them. So it's kind of hard. So you know, those type of guys make the project, you know, less desirable for me. And
plus, every once in a while, like say there's a stud in the way or there's a joist in the way, right? And Matty will call me or his guys will call me and say, hey, listen, there's this one thing that's in the way. You know, we can come back. No. Nope. I'll call Marcio. Marcio will be there in fucking 20 minutes. He's working around the corner. We're going to get it done right now so we ain't wasting your fucking time. You don't have to come back. Like, we'll be there right now to do it. But then there's times where it's like, hey, I don't have anybody available. And Matty's like, no worries. Like, no problem. We'll come back. It's just because it just happens. But where other people, you'd probably be like, what the fuck? I don't want to come back for this because they're wasting time.
I just got called. So a guy calls me, 25th Street, we do a project. He calls me up, texts me, he goes, yo, we're ready to start again. I didn't even fucking know. I looked at it, I'm like, I started scrolling back. The last time we were was 2022.
Oh my God.
I said, look, this is how we got to do this. We're going to rebid everything. He's like, what kind of increase we're looking at? I said, a huge one. I said, everything went up. You know that. I remember I was sending you my equipment was going up every 6 months during COVID. It was fucking crazy. Yes. And the metals went up. So here's a guy there, has me hang all this ductwork, spiral duct. And I'm like, yo, you should sheetrock first. Remember, like we've done a project. We pre-sheetrock it and then we hang the duct because then
it's like the fancy exposed duct.
Yeah. So here's the problem with that is we hung all the duct. Now he has to do double 5/8 because it's a commercial space. So who the fuck are you? Now you got to work over top of all of it. It's just that he don't understand the way the sequence of operations that has to happen, and he kind of fucked it up for himself. And he wants me to come back, and I'm like, dude, I really don't want to come back. To be honest with you, I said it's just been too long because obviously you know you're going to have a money issue because that's why the job stopped. So what now? I'm going to just bet on that this guy's going to be good with the money at the end when the project sat for 2 years because you know he probably went bad with the bank. Something happened. You know what I mean? Why a project stops. But
you guys got to keep it moving, right? I mean, you can't just
I rebid it. I rebid just like it's a new job because everything the guys got raises. It's been 2 years. Material went up. Like all these things come into play. I mean, 2 years is a long time, man. It's not like you sat for a month and no big deal. We'll get back to it. But
yeah, like when prices were like rapidly increasing during COVID, Matty would call me. He'd be like, dude, this next job, like I got to charge you this amount more, and I'll fuck with him. Fuck you. No, you fucking ain't, right? And he'll be like, no, he'll be like, listen, Nick, I'm going to send you over like my price sheet. And here's one from 2 months ago on this job. Here's one. He's like, and he actually sent it over like, this is what I'm making. These are like, this is going to be the labor. This is what I'm going to make. And I'm like, all right, cool.
So you
like,
appreciate
you don't have to do that.
No,
you don't have to do that, but it's just
I just want to make sure that he knows it moving forward because his price has to increase also, you know.
Yeah. But meanwhile, my 2x4s and everything were increasing like crazy too. So.
Well, here's the funny thing. I know when he's in the office because I'll invoice Jen, right? And we and Jen have a good relationship on the phone, bullshitting about certain stuff and all. She's pretty funny about, texting back and forth about certain jobs I'll go to. And she'll say, hey, Matty, what did we put gold duck in here or something? And I'm like, that fucking Nick's in there. Nick's in there.
They're always throwing shots, man. I could listen to you three in a room going back and forth on price. That would be comedy.
I fuck with his guys all the time too. Like I make photos of his guys and shit. And like
that last one was funny.
And like I fuck with them all. Like Richie. Like I'm like Richie. How long you been in the fucking union now? 137 years. Like fucking father time. Yeah. And he knocked the tin into Jesus' fucking cross. You know what I mean? But like these guys are all great, and there's the rapport for that. Like, but I also know from those guys telling me stories. They're like, man, we got to go to this next job. And, like, they're, like, dragging their feet. Like, I don't want to fucking go here. Like, this GC's a fucking asshole. Like, I don't want to go there.
Yeah. Guy told Richie to put this ductwork down the basement. And we're like, well, how's he going to get to the back of the basement when he builds? I'm like, fuck it, put it in. So then the guy comes in, he's like, we got to move that. After Richie goes, fucking nuts. That's the nicest guy in the world.
Yeah,
the nicest
so
guy.
nice.
Motherfucker, what are you fucking, you told me to put it in. Yo, he's in the back room, like almost tearing. I'm like, calm down. Not that fucking big of a deal. He's going to have to pay for it. But Richie went ballistic. So now this guy, every time he sees Richie, he apologizes to Richie. I said, Rich, how the fuck did you scare him? Now the guy's like real apologetic, and or he'll say, yo, let Richie know I'm going to be doing this.
Because he's such a nice guy, you don't expect him to blow up. It's like my brother. When my brother blows up, it's like, it's fucking scary because he's such a nice guy. He loses his shit. You're like, oh my God.
I lose it at least once a day because like when you're in business, you have an installation, everything's going smooth. Then you get your truck, you have 10 text messages. This unit ain't working. And just shit happens, and you have to address it because especially if it's a new unit, you have to go right away. It's either me or one of my guys because the customer paid for it, and there's no air. You don't want that reputation, especially like if you don't go back. Sure.
So Downtown Mechanical now has been in business for 6 years. Can you give a little where our viewers can reach out to you? Is there an Instagram? Is there a website? Like, what's the best way to contact you guys so you can bid on some jobs for them?
Okay, we obviously we have the website Downtown Mechanical LLC.com, and we're also on Facebook at Downtown Mechanical.
Instagram.
What's my Instagram?
You can tell your age. Instagram is downtown_mechanical.
Awesome. So we're going to put that up for our guests to kind of check you out. I can listen to you two characters all day. Again, Matt, it was really a pleasure to meet you. This is our first time meeting one another.
Oh, you accept credit cards and you offer financing too, huh?
We got everything, buddy.
Oh, nice. Look at that.
Look at this.
Yeah, very easy peasy. We do a job at your house, service call. They just pay right by their credit card. If you need a project, you need funding on it, we help with that also.
Wow.
And
That's great.
Yeah, good stuff.
And we've been using a lot of that lately too. It's been really. For a year we didn't do none of it, and then people started asking. And it's very simple. They apply online, they get approved, and they send the money to a bank that's close to you. Wherever bank's near you, you go pick up the check. So it's really easy.
All right. So look, guys, again, we appreciate your time, Matt. You're a class guy for coming on. I learned a ton about, again, every episode I seem to learn more and more about this stuff. So again, Downtown Mechanicals, Matt Rispo, Nick Cessna, Ryan Dolan for another episode of the Atomic Real Estate Show. We'll catch you guys later. Thanks.
If you enjoyed our episode, please consider supporting the show by rating and reviewing the podcast. Also, check us out on Instagram at Atomic Real Estate Show to find out when new shows drop and to participate in our community Q&As. The Atomic Real Estate Show was brought to you by Direct Subs. Direct Subs is the #1 place for real estate investors to connect with local contractors for their flips, rentals, renovations, and new construction projects.